Good day! Here are the stories for the Manila Times for Saturday, January 15, 2022, brought to you by Wilkin Depot, the country's leading home improvement and construction supplies retailer. Shop conveniently 24/7 with the Wilkin online store. Just go to shop.wilkin.com.ph. The government has reformulated its COVID-19 response strategy to make it more effective against a new wave of cases that is fueled by the Omicron variant. The Department of Health has revised its isolation and quarantine protocols that were designed to contain previous surges driven by the Delta variant and other earlier variants. Under the revised protocols, fully vaccinated persons who are COVID positive will be isolated for 7 days, and partially vaccinated or unvaccinated individuals for 10 days. The same procedure applies for the asymptomatic, with the first day being the date of their RT-PCR test. On Friday, the country tallied a record 37,207 COVID-19 cases, pushing the total to 3.13 million. The positivity rate was steady at 47.3%. Metro Manila and 50 other areas in the country will remain under Alert Level 3 until the end of January. Malacanang announced on Friday as cases of COVID-19 continue to climb. Acting Palace spokesman Carlo Alexei Nograles said the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases decided to retain the alert level in the National Capital Region and the other areas from January 16 to 31 during its meeting on Thursday. Metro Manila has been under Alert Level 3 since January 3 following the sudden surge in COVID-19 cases. The Metro Manila Council earlier decided against imposing Alert Level 4, saying there are enough restrictions in place and the healthcare utilization rate had only risen slightly despite the steady rise in COVID-19 infections. With rising COVID-19 cases expected to prevent traditional face-to-face campaigning, presidential candidate Senator Panfilo Lacson is bracing for a dogfight through traditional and social media in reaching out to the electorate. In a radio interview on Friday, Lacson said since candidates could not physically campaign owing to the pandemic, the real battle to win over voters will be happening via the airwaves and the internet. The Partido Reforma chairman and standard-bearer said he would rather rely on the power of volunteers, personal friends and supporters through thick and thin to spread the word about his and the party's reform agenda rather than internet trolls who are opportunistic and turn to the highest bidder, especially during the election season. The government's pandemic task force has included 14 states and territories in the red list or areas that are deemed of high risk for COVID-19, Malacanang announced on Friday. Among those on the list are Canada, Saudi Arabia, and Spain, which have a significant number of Filipino migrants. Also on the red list are Antigua and Barbuda, Aruba, Curacao, French Guiana, Iceland, Malta, Mayotte, Mozambique, Puerto Rico, Somalia, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. According to acting Palace spokesman Carlo Alexei Nograles, Filipino travelers coming from red list countries shall be allowed to enter the country. Over to business. Money sent home by overseas Filipino workers increased year-on-year in November but ended lower on a monthly basis. Data from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas on Friday showed personal remittances between families reached $2.77 billion in November, up 4.8% from $2.64 billion a year ago, but 11.1% weaker than October's $3.117 billion. The November figures also serve as the lowest since the $2.889 billion posted in August. In sports, after dealing with knee soreness for weeks that forced him to see action for only one game so far in the 2021-22 season of the Australian National Basketball League, Filipino import Kai Sotto will be back in full health once the Adelaide 36ers return to action on January 18 against the Perth Wildcats. Adelaide coach CJ Brutton made this comment following the team's extended break due to the league's COVID-19 health and safety protocols. Antonio Contreras and Yen Macabenta are today's front page columnists. Both columnists discuss the disqualification issues surrounding presidential candidate Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Today's editorial calls on the government to make better use of restrictions on unvaccinated people. Read a full version on the paper's opinion section or listen to the Voice of the Times. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and keep up with the Times. On behalf of the Manila Times, this is Arik John Sequo reporting. Have a safe weekend ahead.